Today I'm going to demonstrate how I use Bullseye sheet glass as coloring in my blown glass. So as you can see, there's like a cranberry red on the outside here and white on the inside, and that's done with sheet glass like this that has an alternate color between the top and the bottom. You can actually see the layer right in there of cranberry and white. And these lines back here are actually crack lines because I fracture this with water and these pieces separate and the color from the other side creeps up onto the surface a little bit before it's gathered. These are about maybe 7.5 inches high and about 6 inches wide, and they take about 10 or 11 minutes from start to finish. Alright, let's have a look at the process. So what I do is I basically cut squares out of the sheet glass, and then I nip the corners off. And the reason for that is that when these are gathered, if there's 4 points that extend out beyond what would be a circle, then they flow up the sides of the gather, and they flow up a little bit too far. So that's what I like to use right there. Alright, here comes the first gather. And it's time for the second gather. So I've been blowing Bullseye glass since 1996 and fusing with it since 1987. And I don't really know of anyone else blowing Bullseye glass or using Bullseye sheet glass for coloring in blown glass. It's kind of hard to get the bubbles fined out in this glass. This is that Tecta glass. It's not really intended for glass blowing, but I got used to working with it in the beginning, so it's basically it's all I really know. So I've got this piece of Bullseye sheet glass and I've nipped the corners off of it, and I'm going to throw it in the glass pot. And I'm going to put an air bubble on it and break it, like that. I broke it because I like it when those little pieces float away from each other a little bit, and then when I plunge through it with this gather, I'm wrapping them up on the side of the gather, and the orientation changes a little bit, and you get to see the coloring in the middle of the glass that got rolled in when the sheet was being rolled. Okay, I'm going to pick it up now, and I'm going to twist it in a clockwise direction when I pick it up. There, I've got all the color. So that's 3 gathers, and that's how much glass I need. So I'm just changing the location of some of the volume so that I have a nice thick base. And I tend to do my blowing down on the floor on a piece of steel. And again, that's so that I can maintain that base thickness. And I think it's time for some reheating. So this is an electric glory hole, and I run it about 1900 because it's so efficient that when I had it up over 2000, it just worked too well, and the glass got too sloppy. So as you can see, that was in there for about 15 seconds. And that's all it needed. Okay, now it's time to give it a neckline. So I'm going to neck it just below where the color starts to disappear, so that the color goes right up to the top of the vase. And one more reheat and a bit more inflating. I have a window here that's at the correct angle so I can look straight in on the piece while I'm in there. So I can keep the door closed. And I'll just go over this parting line again and kick in the base. And I'll just preheat that punty a little bit. And I'll just center this and make sure that when it rigidizes, that it's perfectly centered. There we go. Put a little ash on there. And I melted my burner in the glory hole, so now I have to do this neck heating outside of the glory hole. Then I have a foot pedal down here on a gas valve, so that used to be for a burner in the glory hole, but I really like being able to turn the torches on and off without having to adjust them. Alright, a little bit more reheating, and this will be finished in about 45 seconds. That's it. And then put it in the annealer. I have these little knobs here I can grab with the pliers to open the door. There.